Good evening, this is the Dean of All Things Spicy with Conjured Vapors Peppers, and I'm here to do a pepper review. So once again, and the last of my 20-ounce water bottle plants that I have currently growing is an ají caballero. So the ají caballero is the pepper that in Puerto Rico they use to make their traditional sauce or chili sauce called Piqué. So these seeds were acquired when my family and I went to Puerto Rico in April at a home and garden center in Puerto Rico. They were labeled ají Piqué, but I'm 90% sure that they're actually the ají caballero, because on the package it said ají Piqué, and then it said, it said, not ají Piqué. What did it say? Sorry, my memory is failing me. Ají picante. And then it said on the package, para pique. So ají picante para pique. But I'm 99% sure that it is the ají caballero. So what I found with this pseudo crack heat grow in the 20-ounce water bottles is when you let this plant get very, very, very tall, it doesn't have a lot of production, right? Because the plant is putting so much energy into the growth of the foliage that it just doesn't have enough to get enough flowers to really produce. But anyway, we are going to check out what these taste like. So what I've been doing with my recent 20-ounce grows, which are all of the ones that I have already reviewed, is I'm cutting them back to a manageable level, about this tall, about 3 or 4 nodes. And then I am going to keep them topped so that they branch outwards instead of upwards. And then I'll control the total size, the total mass of the foliage, so that it has more production in the fruit rather than in the foliage. Anyway, so we're going to cut it open, and not sure if it was either Brian or Lydia, but one of them said they think that the name pepper dissector, which is what prosector means. But let's try cutting it open. Do you guys like pepper dissector, pepper prosector, pepper prosecutor, which was a misreading of prosector? You guys tell me. You guys are watching the content. Which name do you like? Or is there another name? Ooh, that's got a sweet annuum smell. So while we were in Puerto Rico, we went to a beach called El Mar Chiquita. And on the way back to the hotel from El Mar Chiquita, we found this amazing restaurant. And in this restaurant, they had this gorgeous, tall, old-fashioned glass bottle of Piqué. And don't get me wrong, the Piqué was delicious on the food. But it was the bottle that really impressed me. I absolutely loved that bottle. But anyway, ají, I'm assuming Caballero. It said ají picante, but I'm assuming it's the ají Caballero because it said para pique, and the Caballero is the traditional pepper that is used in Piqué. Yeah, let's try it and see how it tastes. Instantaneously sweet. And when I say sweet, I mean quite sweet. Like, even though this seems to be an annuum, not a bacatum, which most peppers that you see ahi in front of tend to be macadams, but this one looks more like an annuum according to the foliage. Most of the macadams are very sweet, but this one's extremely sweet for an annuum. At least I'm pretty sure these are annuum foliage. Most macadam foliage do not get this large. Some do, but most don't. It looks like an annuum to me. I'm trying to stand the plant back up. It's another problem when the 20 ounce grows get too tall. They get top heavy and they like to fall over. But anyway, so heat level on the Ahi Caballero, I want to say about 15,000 Scoville heat units, maybe 20,000. Definitely hotter than a jalapeno. I'm thinking slightly hotter than a serrano, but only slightly, but way more sweet. Delicious pepper. I'll be excited to grow it outside and see if I get the same results. Anyway, so because it's such a small plant and such a small pepper that I was trying, we will do 3 unlabeled reds from Linda's Fiery Treats. No clue what this is. There are so many peppers out there that look like this that I couldn't tell you what it is without it being labeled. So, cut it open with the pepper dissector, pepper prosector, or some other name that you guys might come up with, and see what she looks like. Definitely changed from an annuum scent to a Chinense scent. And that's what she looks like on the inside. Get into it and see what she tastes like. Mm. Not a tasty pepper, in my opinion. It's both floral and bitter. I didn't get any fruitiness, any sweetness. Just not that tasty of a pepper. Don't get me wrong. I'm getting more and more used to the flavor, and so it's not like disgusting to me anymore like it used to be. Still not pleasant. The heat level's still climbing. The burn is mostly back on my tongue and my throat. Kind of reminded me of a ghost type pepper. But the burn is not as climby as a ghost. It's more ramping up faster. Whereas a ghost tends to climb slowly. But I'm thinking 1.3 or so million Scoville heat units. My eyes are getting glassy. Really hitting my throat right now. No, not really any other part of my mouth except for my throat. Maybe a little bit on the tip of my tongue now as it's climbing. I'm getting fruitiness on the back end. The floral and the bitter went away. Now I'm getting fruity. Yeah, I'm thinking 1.3 million Scoville heat units. I actually was not expecting this pepper to be this warm. Pleasant taste on the back end, actually. Huh. Alright, so it's peaked and it's starting to head back down. So we'll get into the second red pod. Again, not sure what it is. Looks like it might be habanero-ish. Maybe. Possibly a scorpion hybrid of some sort. There's the innards. Unknown red from Linda's Fiery Treats. Yep, I'm thinking red habanero. Some type of a red habanero. Not sure if it's a Caribbean red or a red Savina. Or even just a red variant of an orange. Yep. Very much the habanero flavor, the sweetness, the fruitiness. No floral notes, no bitterness. Attacking pretty much only the front of my tongue. And I'm thinking 450,000 Scoville heat units. Sorry about that. I forgot to silence my phone. Yeah, good pepper. Tasty. I've always liked the red habaneros. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. Now this one, no clue. But she's pretty. And probably going to be warm. Let her open, see what she looks like on the inside. There's the innards. I have to learn how to not cut so far through with this knife. It's quite sharp. When I bought this knife, I also bought a diamond honer, so I'm keeping it razor sharp. But with it being razor sharp, I have to make sure that I learn how to not go all the way through it. Okay. Unknown red from Linda's Fiery Treats. Let's get into it and see what she tastes like. The majority of the chew on that one was a very neutral pepper flavor. Not bitter, not floral, not earthy, not sweet, not fruity. Maybe a tiny bit of fruitiness on the front end, but it went away and went to just pepper flavored for the majority of the rest of the chew. Slight bitterness on the back end. It might have been just the seeds, though. My nose is running. It's a million of a minimum of a million, but it's also the third chinense that I've had. It's still climbing. I can feel it in my chest, which usually shows me that's 1.4 to 1.5 or higher. If I nearly immediately feel it in my gut, then I'm thinking 1.6 or higher, but I'm not feeling it in my gut yet. Also, my eyes are glassy. No tears have formed yet. Really good pepper. I'm not sure what it is, but whatever it is, it would be good in just about all foods because there's no flavors to interrupt whatever flavor you're using the pepper in. Still climbing, though. Absolutely a long climbing pepper. The burn is mostly front half of my mouth, but also a tiny, tiny little tickle in the back of my throat. Definitely get my nose good, though. I would expect to have a tear fall. Hasn't started yet, though. But it also hasn't peaked. Interesting flavor on the back end. It's quite sweet. Can't describe it. There's something that it reminds me of. Almost like a mixture of maybe kiwi and peach. It's a really interesting flavor on the back end. Kind of pointless without knowing what the pepper is, though. Very interesting, very sweet flavor. Wow. And that's so funny that throughout the entire chew, I didn't get this. But on the very back end, I'm starting to. And now a tear is forming in my left eye. So I'm thinking this pepper was right about 1.4 and a half million Scoville heat units. Perhaps 1.5. But it hasn't peaked yet. It's still climbing. That tear is absolutely falling now. Right here, right now. The nose is running really well. Excuse me. Blush. So that sweet flavor is still persisting even as it's climbing. It's really a good pod now that I really get into the back end of the pepper. This would be an excellent pod for sauces. I need to find out what it is. It would make a very tasty sauce. You wouldn't have to add a lot of sweetener. Depending on how much vinegar you use, you're always going to need to add a little bit of sweetener just to offset the vinegar. But I think if you could utilize some citrus, some actual citrus, some citrus fruit instead of vinegar, it would help to where you wouldn't have to use much sweetener. There is a second tear falling from my left eye. So I'm thinking 1.5 million Scoville heat units now. All right, so it's peaked and it's heading back down. That's an interesting pepper. I don't know that I've ever had that flavor before. Man, I need to get with Linda and find out what that pepper was. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is the Dean of All Things Spicy with Conjured Vapors Peppers. Have a beautiful night. I'm out.